I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to our combined Dave versus the MSM and Operation Freedom briefing. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for networking this information to all those you know and love. Information you'll never get through the bought-off lamestream fake media. In addition, we are available. Now, we have our free 3-hour radio show every Sunday, broadcast live from the People's Republic of Ann Arbor in Wham Talk 1600's Freedom Bunker. All you have to do is go to davejanda.com from 2 to 5 Eastern and hit the Listen Live button. And it takes you to our streaming service, and just hit that and you're with us. Now, the podcasts, if you want to listen again or you missed part of the show, are available on our subscription side of the platform, 30 cents a day, $9 a month, in addition to the 4 or 5 other video format shows I do every week on content I cannot discuss on any social media platform or on the radio because of the choke points in the FCC. So we're always there for you. The new and improved davejanda.com website. Join us. Tax day. Oof. You know, this is always such a troubling day that we're essentially paying or have been paying for our own destruction, right? When Stalin was in power and he targeted his political opponents, he would actually, when he would decide that someone needed to die, he would actually have them buy their own bullet. And people say, well, how awful. Yeah, it was awful. And people say, well, that could never happen today. No, it does. What do you think today's all about? And has been about for many, many decades. We're paying to fund this monstrosity that's run by deep state players, and hopefully for not too much longer, that focuses on destroying our freedoms and liberties on a minute-by-minute basis. Now, we saw some improvements from 2016 to 2020. We had a big fallback from 2020 to 2024. And now we're seeing significant impairment of their freedom stripping machine run by the globalist syndicate. And look, come on. I keep getting this stuff. Obama, he's all the... Look, Obama is an upper middle level whore that's owned and operated by the globalist syndicate. He's not the one calling the shots. He's handled by Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett is handled by the banking syndicate. The banking syndicate is run by the banking international families. One more time, because this really upsets them. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Lazards, the Pinkuses, the Warburgs, the Seifs, the Loebs, and the very top of the pyramid, the Payseur, P-A-Y-S-E-U-R family. Look it up. They're imploding. And a lot of this is what President Trump, Elon Musk, the Dogistas, and the people around them are doing. They are in their head 24/7. Go back to General Patton. He was asked, how you're such a successful general. How are you so successful at winning your battles time and time and time again? He goes, because I know more about my opponent and what they're going to do and how they think than they do. I study them. Well, that's what's happening now in real time. If you want to know why President Trump and Elon Musk and the Dogistas have been successful, and they have been. One measure is they are living in the globalist cult's heads 24/7. And look, this should be no surprise to you if you've listened to this platform for months, years, over a decade. For years, I've spoken on the radio and in these videos about the coming of the new management team. I was told that I was wrong. I was told I was delusional. I was called all kinds of names. I was called conspiratorial. But I was right. And little did all those critics know that I've been working with what can be called the disruptive team, the disruptors, for decades. So, old Dave is considered one of the old men of the disruptors. We hear about these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that are in the Doge group. Yeah, they're there. But they're also a significant number of old men that are involved. And this family of disruptors has had a huge role with this disruptive election and the disruptive events leading to the 2024 election and since. So, if you want to know what's coming, a good indication actually of what's coming was written through the Brownstone Institute by someone by the name of El Gato Mato. Nim de plume. Here's what the El Gato Mato said, completely on target. Quote, the current globalists are not even bringing a knife to a gunfight. They're bringing a dinosaur to a meteor strike. And the meteor is about to strike, and it will be glorious. It will be glorious. And I suggest you trust this old man. Because what's coming is a disruptive meteor strike. To all those folks that say, well, this has been disruptive enough. Oh, no. You've only seen just the beginning. Because this is a takedown of the globalist cult. Musk recently said, quote, this is our one and only chance to restore democracy from the dictatorship of the bureaucracy. It is now or never. And it must be now. And he's right. He's right. Our country, our constitutional republic, our world was beyond the precipice. We were over the edge of losing it all. And if it were not for these group of disruptors, we would have been at the bottom of the canyon. The disruptors, their formula is very simple. It's based on accountability, transparency, and truth. Everything that the globalist syndicate despises. And those three entities meld into the D words, utilization of the D words, disclosure, all those files. Now, we haven't been very satisfied at all about the disclosure side, right? President Trump did his deal. He signed his executive orders first day he was there. JFK, RFK, MLK, Epstein files, January 6th. They need to have full disclosure. And we've seen a lot of stiff arming going on. And we got to call it the way we see it. Pam Bondi has been dragging her feet. Done a lot of interviews, but dragging her feet on the disclosure issue. And we need to turn up the heat. Because without disclosure, we might just well repeat the past down the line. Disruption. Disrupting, and here's the key, their money flow operations. Because without their money flow, they're done. Elon Musk, that's what Doge is all about. Why do you think they're all so hysterical? Wanting to burn his cars and his charging stations and his all this. It's because the gravy train's ending. And he's uncovering it with his dogistas, with the dogeparency, as opposed to transparency. It's key for all of us to be peacefully, lawfully, disobedient, and defiant. And finally, the key is to dedicate our actions to freedom of every American, of every person of the world. And here's how we're getting there. As I mentioned, President Trump and Elon Musk are in the cult's heads 24/7. And this is the key to success. On our radio show, I've had the opportunity to have a retired fighter pilot for 18, 19 years, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Colzer. And he introduced our radio audience to the term OODA loop. This is a fighter pilot's means of strategic thinking. OODA, observe, orient, decide, act. OODA loop. And it keeps looping as you keep going through the process. So let me give you a little historical background. The OODA loop strategic thinking model was developed by a fighter pilot by the name of John Boyd. President Trump and Elon Musk have, for all intents and purposes, incorporated aspects of John Boyd's OODA loop into their strategic thinking and planning and implementation operation. Boyd was an Air Force fighter pilot who believed that if you took control of an aerial engagement, a dogfight, if you will, by making the opponent react to you, have them react to you, flood the zone with your actions, they then have to react to you, and eventually, as it keeps looping, they keep reacting to what you do, and you're a step ahead, you win the dogfight 100% of the time. Boyd called this, quote, getting into the decision-making cycle, end quote, of the enemy, which he broke down into 4 phases. The OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. If, Boyd found, and this has been implemented for decades now by fighter pilots, if you could implement the OODA loop faster than your enemy, flood the zone, then you were inside your enemy's decision-making cycle. You're in their head. And they would eventually die 100% of the time. And the key aspect of the OODA loop is the loop. This wasn't a one-time exercise, but a series of connected actions, each feeding off the other. You took an action and then observed the enemy's reaction. You orient on their reaction and decide which option is best before acting. The enemy now reacts and the cycle repeats, and eventually the enemy dies. The goal, and here's the key, and this is why President Trump and Elon and the dogistas have been relentless. The goal is to not let up once you engage your enemy, to keep the enemy reacting to your actions until you have them where you want them, and then they're done. That is what's occurring. So while Elon, with his dogistas, had these guys have them on their heels, here comes the OODA loop. What does President Trump do? He puts out a tweet and a note on Truth Social. Says, Elon's doing a great job, but I would like to see him Remember, everybody, oh, he's so aggressive. This is it. I would like him to get more aggressive. What? Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before. So what did Elon do? Musk warns federal workers, you must return to the office or be placed on leave. What? Now they got to react to that. And the reactions were beyond spinning their wheels. They had to turn to their compromised judges, their Obama and Biden compromised judges in the district court level to try to stem the tide, to try to... And that's just what President Trump and Elon Musk and the Dogistas wanted. They're forced to react and act out. Panic ensues. Dem senator lashes out at the Dick bosses, Musk, over Elon requiring feds to explain their work, those 5 bullet points, and have to come back to work. Senator Tina Smith lashed out. This is the ultimate Dick boss move. Except, Musk, he isn't even the boss. He's just a dick. To which Musk replied, again, in her head, making him react. Okay, but what were the 5 points you accomplished last week, Senator? Right. You see, they hate accountability. They hate transparency. They hate truth. And that's exactly what President Trump and Elon Musk are using to destroy the cult. And we all can take a lesson from this. Every single person that we confront or interact with that thinks that the past of weaponized government, tax money, filtering out by the trillions of dollars for these nonsense reasons, the stripping of our freedoms and liberty, that's okay, no, get in the OODA loop. Get in their heads. Make them react. Make them think. God, they hate that. They're doing the same thing with their entire money. Remember, disrupt their money trail, right? Money laundering operations. And they've been using these NGOs. James Howard Kunstler, political analyst, excellent writer, recently said, do you see how all this works now? The ever-expanding matrix of NGOs, non-government organizations, creates an army of useful idiots working hand in hand with an ever-expanding rogue bureaucracy that has become effectively a fourth branch of government accountable to nobody. This is how your tax dollars disappear down a rat hole and why the government is insolvent. All that's coming to an end. And they're panicked, and the only thing they're doing is irrationally acting out. Representative Jasmine Crockett blames Trump's popularity and Musk's popularity on Americans being, quote, uneducated, end quote. What do you think that's going to do? You think that's going to bring more people to their camp? Oh, no. They're reacting. Trump and Musk are in their OODA loop. And they're driving them into the ground. To the point where they're so panicked, they're doing desperate things. Listening devices found in the Oval Office. President's desk removed for security scam. That happened at the end of February with the Resolute desk. Folks, we can all take a lesson from fighter pilot John Boyd and his OODA loop. It's a means of dealing with our adversaries. It's about getting in their head, making them react, and then having them keep reacting and driving them. And our goal is to drive them into freedom, into valuing freedom and disassociating themselves from a tyrannical, totalitarian thug government that strips every American of their freedom, their liberty, their financial resources, their health. You don't believe me on that? Think of 2019 through the present. Strips people of hope, freedom, and their future, and ultimately their life. Every single one of us needs to implement John Boyd's strategic thought and implementation process of the OODA loop. I'm giving you the formula. It's the formula that's working for President Trump and Elon Musk and the Dogistas. I've used it for years. Works for me. There are very few things you can get a guarantee in life about. I guarantee if you utilize the OODA loop on those that oppose you, well, you will notice remarkable results in turning them around. I thank you for joining me today. We are available with content you'll never get from any other platform at davejanda.com. The 30 cents a day covers our costs. It's very expensive to run a website that's safe and secure, and it is, especially with the added benefit of the content that puts you not just days or weeks, months and years ahead of the curve. And that's not an exaggeration. If you want an example, go to our Tale of the Tape section on the website. We got a tremendous amount of free content there, but the real meat of content I cannot discuss on the radio or in social media platforms is on the subscription site. Our WTF show, our Insider Insight show, our Department of Advanced Research show, and the other videos that I do every week. Join us. Become part of our freedom family. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for joining me today.